This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. Jeudy is one of these players I predict that Browns media, Browns fans are really going to have a microscope on in the preseason portion of the Browns year, because he's somebody who can tip the scales in one direction or the other for this Cleveland Browns offense. Right now, on paper, the Cleveland Browns have what is a pretty good offense, right? You have an offensive line that still has a good reputation. You have David Njoku, who was pretty good last year. You have Amari Cooper, who's been pretty good the last couple of years. You have, smaller pieces around that, Elijah Moore, Jeudy, things like that. And you have what you hope to be at least a decent to good quarterback, what you hope to be a great quarterback in Deshaun Watson. That being said, if Jeudy goes from solid number 2, which is what he is, to a guy who's threatening to be a number 1 receiver in the NFL, then the scale, the balance of the Cleveland Browns offense completely tilts to overpowered, because now you have Amari Cooper, David Njoku, and Jeudy as a filthy 1-2-3 to be complemented alongside a rushing attack of Nick Chubb, Deontay Foreman, and Jerome Ford, sprinkling in a little bit of Deshaun Watson in there as well. How Jeudy looks outside of Deshaun Watson is probably the biggest factor that can tip the scales of where the Browns offense sits in 2024 on this team. So I think that means we're going to watch him like a hawk, especially because he's probably going to be the one in that combination of guys, right? Deshaun Watson's going to be very important to this, and Nick Chubb's going to be very important to this, and Deshaun Watson's going to be very important to this, and so is Jeudy. But Jeudy is going to be the only one that's going to be practicing a ton in the preseason. Maybe Deshaun practices a lot, but it's quarterback practice. It's not live, so there's not much you could take away from that. And maybe Nick Chubb practices too, if we're very fortunate, but we don't expect either of those guys to get much run in the preseason. Jeudy, on the other hand, we do expect to see him a good amount during training camp and during the preseason. So we're going to want to see what Jeudy is looking like for this team. And that's why I have Jeudy right here at number 14 on these rankings, because he's not quite yet in that difference maker category where you expect him to be a difference maker every game, or at least on a consistent basis. But he's not at the bottom of this list where you just say, hey, this is what Jeudy does. This is what he provides to the team. And you just can't expect more of that. Jeudy could very well end this season as one of the 10 most valuable players on the Cleveland Browns. He could end this season somewhere in the 20s. It can really go either way with him. Now, usually with these videos, I do a film breakdown. I'm not going to do that because I've already done a film breakdown on Jeudy and his time in Denver. So go back and check that video out if you want more of a film breakdown approach of what Jeudy brings to the Browns and what his issues are going to be coming from the Denver Broncos. But what I want to talk about today is the promise of Jeudy, the dream scenario of what Jeudy can become, and why I think Jeudy is in one of the best positions he could be to realize his potential in the NFL. So one, if you want to know, or you don't have a good grip on what Jeudy does well and what scouts, general managers, and coaches hope that he grows into based on his current skill set, I would say the dream scenario for Jeudy is Brandon Ayuk. Like, if Jeudy can become something like Brandon Ayuk, a top tier route runner who can win every single route on the tree, high, low, intermediate, and still be a lethal yak threat. That is the dream of Jerry Jeudy. That's the dream of Jerry Jeudy that made him the first wide receiver taken in 2020. That's the promise of Jerry Jeudy that people had in their minds when he got drafted out of Alabama. Now, even though he was the first wide receiver drafted in that class, it's something important to note. He was still the 15th pick in that draft, which means it didn't seem like a guarantee to a lot of NFL teams that he would live up to that potential. That just was the potential, because if people thought that he was a shoo-in to live up to that dream, he would have been a top 5 pick, no question, right? But that's not where Jerry Jeudy was drafted, because there are issues with Jerry Jeudy, right? He's not the most consistent guy. He hasn't put together the most consistent body of work anywhere that he's been. And his ability to catch through contact is not the best, right? When you look at a wide receiver, you want to see some 50-50 ball activity. You want to see him make some tough through contact catches. Like, he can make an acrobatic catch, but he can't really make that same catch if he gets hit a moderate amount. Like, it's just a little bit frustrating when you see Jerry Jeudy drop some of these passes. And this goes all the way back to his days in Alabama. Again, that's the promise of Jerry Jeudy. We know that Jerry Jeudy has always had certain issues delivering to that promise. But why is Cleveland the best place he's been to reach that promise, at least professionally? Number one, and first and foremost, and I think this is the most important thing for Jerry Jeudy, is that he gets a clean slate in Cleveland. And I have not seen a player in quite a while that was in more of a desperate need for a clean slate than Jerry Jeudy, quite frankly. They hated him in Denver. Like, there was a lot of frustration to go around and a lot of blame for that frustration. And I think Jerry Jeudy probably played in Denver the 4 most frustrating years anybody could play in Denver. And because of that, and because of his own inability to live up to the promise, he kind of became the poster child of everything Denver fans hated about those Denver teams, right? That Denver team that tried to go all in from 2020 to 2023, the Denver teams that had Russ on it. Like, it feels like Jerry Jeudy was one of the main poster childs for what is wrong with the Denver Broncos and why the Denver Broncos could not live up to expectations. And when somebody is made the poster child of that, it's not just their play on the field that gets picked apart. It becomes their character that gets picked apart, right? It wasn't just, oh, Jerry Jeudy, he's not getting open enough. His route tree isn't crisp enough. He's not catching through contact. That wasn't the nature of the criticism that Jerry Jeudy was getting, right? I think that's healthy criticism. When your complaints about a player are strictly about what they're doing on a football field, that's not bad coverage. That's not negative coverage. It's not toxic coverage. It might not be positive, but it is constructive. It's about football at the end of the day. Jerry Jeudy and people's frustration with Jerry Jeudy became so strong that the criticism stopped becoming about Jerry Jeudy's route tree or Jerry Jeudy's ability to get open, and it became questioning his heart. It became about questioning his dedication to the game. It came into questioning his integrity as a football player. They did not like him. If you've seen the stuff that Mark Schlereth has said about him, it's not good. That's one bad situation. Remember, all 4 of these things kind of compound on top of each other why Cleveland is such a better fit for him. That's the first thing. It's a clean slate, and he desperately needed a clean slate. Like, we think we hate Jed Wills, but go and listen to how they talk about Jerry Jeudy. Go and listen to how they just let Steve Smith talk about Jerry Jeudy. Like, we don't like Jed Wills, but if Chris Canty was on ESPN NFL Live talking crazy about Jed Wills, I feel like we wouldn't let it slide the way that people let Steve Smith just talk about Jerry Jeudy in Denver. And that is an indication of a fan base that does not like him. Now, it might be for reasons that might become apparent in a couple months in Cleveland. Maybe this has more to do with Jerry Jeudy than it does about the situation that surrounds Jerry Jeudy. But either way, even if it was all of Jerry Jeudy's fault, why people hated him in Denver, if he were to change, it wasn't going to be in that environment in Denver. A clean slate is a clean opportunity for him to get better, do better. Even if he was part of the reason why people did not like him in Denver, a clean slate can help him realize those mistakes and improve upon them here in Cleveland, because we don't care that Justin Jefferson was drafted after him in Cleveland. We don't care that he was the 15th overall draft pick. We just care about what Jerry Jeudy can bring to the Cleveland Browns to help the Cleveland Browns achieve their goals this year. So it's a clean slate. That's number one. Again, these compound on each other. Number two is vet support. He has veteran support here. The Cleveland Browns are not just a veteran team. I make this point all the time. They're a veteran team that has a bunch of players who have had the same coaches for a very long time. They're a veteran just squad, the whole team, the whole locker room. They're veterans. David Njoku's been here like 7-8 years. Myles Garrett's been here 7 years or 8 years. How many years he's been in the league? These guys are veteran players. This locker room is full of veteran players who have dealt with it. They've lived through the scrutiny that Odell Beckham got when Odell Beckham was a Cleveland Brown here. They've lived through the media whirlwind that is trading for Deshaun Watson. Hell, they lived through the original media whirlwind of Baker Mayfield and all of his battles with the media. If any locker room in the NFL knows how to deal with hostile coverage, it is the Cleveland Browns. Especially this locker room of the Cleveland Browns. They done dealt with being dogged on because they were the 0-16 team, to being dogged on or polarized over Baker Mayfield, then polarized because of Deshaun Watson, and so on and so forth. They've been through it all. Myles Garrett has smacked the dude in the head with a helmet. He was on Good Morning America because of that. They've been through all of the turmoils in this locker room. A pandemic, a epidemic of injuries, literally you name it. This locker room has been through it. The guys who have been here since 2017, they've been through it. They've experienced it all. So if Jerry Jeudy is having issues like he did in Denver, there are people to lean on who not only know what that's like, but also know how this media environment, especially uniquely how the media environment in Cleveland works, to help Jerry Jeudy navigate these things more effectively. And, it just helps to have vets around, right? I bet it's good for him to have somebody like Amari Cooper. Well, I don't think Amari Cooper's going to teach him everything he knows. Amari Cooper's trying to get paid, but he's going to be able to be some level of assistance, right? Because they both from the same area. It's a bunch of dudes from Florida, a bunch of veteran players, a bunch of guys from the SEC. There's a lot of veteran support here for Jerry Jeudy, and I think that will be something that helps him out too. So it's not just a clean slate. It's a clean slate, a place where you have a lot of veteran support. Number three, a better fitted quarterback. Now, I can't go full on, it's an upgrade at quarterback with Deshaun Watson until Deshaun Watson puts together enough games where I feel confident in saying that definitively. What I've seen of Deshaun Watson in 2023 to me is encouraging, but it's not definitive by any means. We need to see Deshaun Watson do it. But what I can definitively say is when you look at the play styles of quarterbacks that Jerry Jeudy has been with in the NFL, it is obvious that Deshaun Watson fits his play style a lot better than a lot of the quarterbacks that he had. One of the biggest issues I think Jerry Jeudy had with Russell Wilson was just how Russell likes to deliver the football. And Russ likes to throw these rainbow balls, right? And now that he's older, they hang a little bit more than they used to, which really affects timing. And it just put a guy like Jerry Jeudy, who's a precise, crisp route runner who likes to get the ball, boom, right on him. It put him in a bad situation where he has to track the ball, where he has to get up or wait for the ball to get to his spot. And what's one thing that we know that Jerry Jeudy is not great at? catching through contact. And when Jerry Jeudy has to stop his route, slow his route to turn back to the ball because it's hanging in the air, he has to stop. That means a defender contacts him, and it puts him in a situation where he has to catch the football in spots where he's not good at doing it. This is what I mean by Deshaun Watson is a better fit for him, because what Deshaun Watson likes to do is hit you in stride, right? You go back to that 2020 tape, you go back to that 2019 tape, you look at the games where he was on last year and making great throws. He's hitting guys in stride. He's putting the ball right on them. Some guys don't like that. Some guys would rather track the ball up in the air and go up and get it. Deshaun Watson is going to put that thing on you. You don't really see a ton of he's not going to throw a ton of 50-50 balls to you. He's going to try to put it on you in stride, especially over the middle of the field. And Deshaun Watson likes those in-breaking, out-breaking routes where he can anticipate it and put it in a little bit of a pocket. That's the same type of stuff that Jerry Jeudy likes. Now, what will be the level of success? Well, that's determined on how well Jerry Jeudy plays and how well Deshaun Watson plays. But if we're just talking styles here, right, and styles make fights, the styles match up with these two, right? Deshaun Watson throws the ball and likes to deliver the ball when he's on in a way that I feel like Jerry Jeudy would benefit from. And Jerry Jeudy likes to run the ball and get the ball in spots that I think Deshaun Watson likes to throw to. So I like that fit for him better with the quarterback. Again, can't say it's an automatic upgrade at quarterback yet, because we need the games from Deshaun Watson. No matter how encouraged you are by what he did in 2023 or discouraged by what he did in 2023, we need some more games to really know what Deshaun Watson, if he's going to be an upgrade or whatever from what Jerry Jeudy had at quarterback. But we know that the style of Deshaun Watson is his style, and that matches up for him too. The last thing, I think the most important thing, is the Cleveland Browns have a clear vision for what they want to do with Jerry Jeudy. And I don't think the Denver Broncos were ever able to execute whatever the original vision was for Jerry Jeudy. So his first 2 years, Vic Fangio is the head coach and Pat Shurmur is in charge of the offense. After a couple of years, Pat Shurmur gets fired. They bring in Nathaniel Hackett. Then Nathaniel Hackett gets fired, and now Sean Payton. All of a sudden, 4 years into Jerry Jeudy's career, he's on his third offensive coordinator. And he does not play a position like quarterback, right? Where quarterback's always going to be at the first and foremost of any offensive coordinator you hire. He plays a position in wide receiver where, hey, you just deal with what you got now, right? It's not going to be catered towards you, Jerry Jeudy, like whoever they hire. And that means that there was never really a plan for Jerry Jeudy. There was never really a vision for Jerry Jeudy that got executed throughout his 4 years in Denver. And we know this formula very well in Cleveland because it's been used against us. But the one thing that dictates how well teams draft is how much continuity do they have. You will not see a lot of teams that have continuity that can't draft. I'm sure there's one, but most teams that can keep a coach, keep a coaching staff, and keep a general manager and a scouting department together can draft well. The reason that is obvious. When you draft somebody in 2021, and 4 years later, you're still in charge of the plan for developing that player, and you have a plan for that player that you can enact over 4 years, you're going to have a better chance of success with developing that player because there's a plan. You identified what you feel like this guy can do well in what you do. You identified an area where that player can step up, a time frame in which you expect that player to step up, and you can create a plan that gets that player to that point. We lived this in Cleveland. We saw Cincinnati always able to draft well. Baltimore always able to draft well. Pittsburgh always able to draft well. They also did not change head coaches. They also did not change their general managers. Meanwhile, in Cleveland, we're changing general managers every 2 years. We're changing head coaches every 2 years. And we wondered why we can't draft better than Cincinnati or Pittsburgh or Baltimore, despite the fact that we always had better picks than them. In a lot of cases, way more picks than them, but we could never draft well because the Browns were drafting somebody under one regime, and then the plan for this player that they drafted number 5 overall switches once they fire a coach 2 years into that player's career, and then somebody else comes in, and who knows if that guy's a fan of the dude that you drafted number 5 overall 2 years ago. So maybe that plan changes, and that plan that you originally had, the intent that you had for that player, that's out the window, and now it's just randomness. The Browns have been on the wrong end of this recipe where we would throw out coach and throw out GM, which meant we threw out plan for this draft pick and the plan for that draft pick left and right. We would wonder why these players weren't developing, and then they would go somewhere else where somebody else coveted them enough to have a plan around them. And then we see them pop up in a different uniform and go, wow, why do they look good there, but they look bad as a Brown? Is it just us? And the answer was you change your coaches and GMs way too much. The Browns are now on the opposite side of this equation. How amazing is that? Because the Browns have had a plan for Jerry Jeudy for 4 years. They loved Jerry Jeudy in the draft. They couldn't get him, right? They had to take a tackle. They loved Jerry Jeudy his rookie year, his second year. You've been hearing rumors every year of Jerry Jeudy's career that the Browns were interested in going and getting him. They finally got Jerry Jeudy, which means they got a plan for Jerry Jeudy. They see somewhere. They signed him to a long-term contract already. They see an area where Jerry Jeudy can develop into something for them. This is the first time in Jerry Jeudy's career where he's going to be in a position where somebody's got a plan for him and they have the comfort to actually feel like they can enact that plan over a more than 1 year time frame. They never had a vision for him in Denver, and he looked like a player that nobody knew what to do with. He made what was best of it. He didn't live up to expectations, but now he's in Cleveland. Andrew Berry has had a plan for him for years. Now Andrew Berry is enacting that plan. And you can tell, again, they signed him to a long-term contract. They have a plan for Jerry Jeudy. And that's the thing that allows teams to do that vulture thing that they used to do to us, right? Where teams will swoop in over our draft bus, pick them up and turn them into good players all the time. That used to happen with the Patriots all the time, where Bill Belichick will watch our draft as closely as we watched our draft. And then in a couple years, when we done fired everybody, what Bill Belichick do? He swoop in. Oh yeah, I like that guy y'all took in the 3rd round. I'm gonna take him. Oh yeah, that dude, y'all ain't like him in the 2nd round. Hey, how about I trade you a 34-year-old 3rd string linebacker for your 3rd round pick from 2005 or whatever it was, right? Bill Belichick used to do this to us he used to hit us with the okey doke all the time. Now the Browns are in a position to do that because they have a vision for Jerry Jeudy. That's why they went out and got him and signed him to a long-term deal. And now Jerry Jeudy is in a position where he can succeed because he has a clean slate. He has veteran support in a way that he did not have in Denver. He has a better fitted quarterback, and the Cleveland Browns as an organization have a plan, not just a plan they have a real shot at delivering on, because the Browns' job security is very strong right now. That's why I think Jerry Jeudy has a good chance to succeed in Cleveland. It's not just because, he's wearing brown and orange. I like Jerry Jeudy now. I love this situation for Jerry Jeudy. If this same situation existed in Baltimore, existed in Pittsburgh, I'll be like, hey guys, this is a good situation for that player. This is a good spot for Jerry Jeudy to land. This is the best spot for Jerry Jeudy to land. And I hope Jerry Jeudy understands that and takes advantage of this, because he's never going to get an opportunity like this again. This is once in his career. He's going to have this chance. I hope he takes advantage of it, because if he does, that'd be really good for the Cleveland Browns. But we got to see it. We got to see it. We got to see more consistency. We got to see him do a better job of catching through contact. Jerry Jeudy is either going to be the most exciting thing we talk about all season or the most exhausting thing we talk about all season. Either the takes on Jerry Jeudy are going to be very, very optimistic and, oh, Andrew Berry is my king and all this stuff that people say on Twitter whenever something goes well for the guy that they like. Or this is going to be used as a poster child of why the people who want the current regime ousted should be ousted, because look at Jerry Jeudy. He didn't work out. And it's going to be annoying. It's going to be exhausting. The conversation is going to be exhausting. For me, I think Jerry Jeudy's going to have some moments where he has standout games and people are going to be doing them victory laps. I also think Jerry Jeudy is probably going to have one or two droughts throughout the year where it's like, hey, man, where's Jerry Jeudy been? It's been like 2 games. I ain't seen him. I think ultimately I would be happy, depending on the efficiency, if Jerry Jeudy gives you in the range of 850, 900 yards. Like, if he gets past that, I would be thrilled. So anywhere above 850, 900, depending on efficiency, I would be pretty thrilled with. And I want him to get 13 plus 20-yard plus receptions. So 13 receptions of 20 plus yards. I want him to get some chunk plays. Last year he got 10. I want him to get back into that 15-16 category, 15-16 area when it comes to all NFL receivers. Get up there with Debo, get up there with the Ayuks Ayuk's got like 30, but get up there into like that 15, middle of the pack place for a wide receiver, and I think that'll be very good for Jerry Jeudy. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.